Power is not claimed through noise. It is established through total emotional dominance. Most people move through the world completely exposed. They wear their emotions on their sleeves. They react to every slight. They seek validation from people who do not care about them. They are open books, easily read, easily manipulated, and effortlessly discarded. You must become the exact opposite. You must become a psychological fortress. Cold, unpredictable, completely untouchable. The human mind operates on predictable mechanics. When you understand these mechanics, you gain an unfair advantage over everyone in the room. The average person operates on primitive impulses. They want to be liked. They fear conflict. They react immediately to external stimuli. The moment you master the art of emotional detachment, you break their leverage over you. You shift the power dynamic instantly. The first rule of absolute dominance is controlling your attention. Attention is currency. Most people give it away for free. They respond to every text. They justify their actions. They explain themselves when challenged. This signals desperation. It signals low status. High-status individuals do not explain. They do not defend. They observe. When someone attempts to provoke you, your immediate reaction is what they are playing for. They want your energy. They want your emotional submission. Deny them. Look at them with complete composure. Say nothing. Let the silence heavy the air. Silence forces the other person to fill the void, and in doing so, they will almost always reveal their own insecurities. Drop the word absolute in the comments if you understand the power of silence. People respect what they cannot easily access. The moment you make yourself entirely available, you lose your value. This is a fundamental law of human behavior. Scarcity creates value. Abundance breeds contempt. When you are always present, always available, and always eager to please, you are perceived as weak. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He noted that men are driven by two main levers, fear and self-interest. If you rely entirely on being liked, you place your fate in the hands of others. But when you master strategic distance, you command respect without saying a word. You do not ask for respect. You cultivate an aura that demands it. Consider the dynamic of the Dark Triad: Narcissism, Machiavellianism, and Psychopathy. While these traits in excess destroy lives, the underlying mechanics of emotional restraint present in Machiavellian philosophy offer a powerful framework for self-protection. It is the ability to separate emotion from strategy. The average person reacts with their feeling. The strategist calculates with their objective. When faced with disrespect or aggression, the average person becomes defensive or angry. The strategist observes the attack, identifies the weakness of the attacker, and uses their own momentum against them. Anger is a weakness. It reveals your triggers. It tells the enemy exactly where to press. To make yourself untargetable, you must eliminate your desire to control how others perceive you. The need to be understood is a profound vulnerability. When you stop caring whether someone views you as good, bad, kind, or ruthless, you become completely unmanipulatable. They lose every angle of attack. You become a mirror, reflecting their own behavior back at them while remaining entirely unaffected inside. This is not about becoming cruel. It is about becoming precise. It is about possessing absolute sovereignty over your mental state. Look at how weak people operate in professional and social settings. They try to convince others of their worth. They speak rapidly. They break eye contact first. They lean in, hopping for approval. This behavior broadcasts subconscious submission. To invert this, you must master the physical mechanics of dominance. Slow down your movements. Speak at a measured, deliberate pace. Maintain eye contact longer than is comfortable for the other person. Never tilt your head in agreement unless it serves a deliberate strategic purpose. When you move slowly, you communicate that you own the space you occupy. You communicate that time bends to you, not the other way around. There is a dark truth about human nature that most are too soft to accept. People do not align with those who are nice. They align with those who are powerful. They bow to strength even when they claim to despise it. If you build your entire identity on being agreeable, you will be exploited by those who operate on cold calculation. You must develop a shadow side. You must possess the capacity for coldness, even if you choose to exercise it selectively. A harmless man is not a good man. A harmless man is simply weak. A truly formidable individual is someone capable of immense strategic force who chooses to remain disciplined. You must learn to hoard your intentions. Never let anyone know your next move. The moment you broadcast your plans, you invite resistance. You give opponents time to prepare countermeasures. Move in absolute silence. Execute your goals without announcement. Let your success be the first signal the world receives. When people ask what you are working on, give them vague answers. Give them meaningless details that satisfy their superficial curiosity while keeping your true objectives hidden deep below the surface. Mask your intentions behind an unreadable exterior. When someone attempts to disrespect you in public, do not engage in a back-and-forth argument. Arguments are low-status exchanges. They lower you to the level of the aggressor. Instead, leverage the power of the pause. Look at them intently. Pause for 3 seconds. Let everyone in the room feel the discomfort. Then, address them with a calm, clinical observation that dismantles their credibility without emotional heat. Attack their logic, not their feelings. When you remain calm while someone else loses control, the audience naturally views you as the authority figure and the aggressor as unhinged. Write "I am untouchable" below if you are ready to master your own mind. Strategic isolation is another tool of high-value individuals. Most people are terrified of being alone with their thoughts. They fill every quiet moment with cheap entertainment, noise, and superficial socializing. This makes them weak and easily influenced by societal programming. When you learn to embrace solitude, you lose your fear of abandonment. You become self-contained. You no longer tolerate disrespect just to maintain a relationship or a connection. You can walk away from anything that does not serve your long-term vision without hesitation. That willingness to walk away is the ultimate form of leverage in any negotiation, personal or professional. Do not mistake emotional control for apathy. Apathy is passive. Emotional control is hyperactive discipline. It is the conscious decision to filter every incoming stimulus through a layer of logic before allowing it to touch your core. When bad news arrives, you do not panic. You assess. When good news arrives, you do not become overly reckless. You assess. You remain steady at the center of the storm. The world outside can be chaotic, unpredictable, and hostile, but your internal state remains absolute and unchanged. Most people live as reaction machines. External event happens, immediate emotional reaction follows. Strategic minds insert a gap between the event and the response. In that gap lies your ultimate power. In that gap you decide whether to act, ignore, or destroy. You select the response that yields the maximum long-term strategic advantage, completely ignoring short-term emotional satisfaction. Winning an argument feels good for 5 minutes. Winning the long game changes your life forever. Never trade long-term leverage for short-term gratification. To build an unshakable mindset, you must continuously test your limits. Expose yourself to voluntary discomfort. Practice restraint when you want to speak. Practice stillness when you want to move. Practice cold observation when you want to react. The more you discipline your nervous system, the less power the external world has over you. You become a ghost to those who attempt to manipulate you. They press buttons that no longer trigger a response. They set traps that you easily walk around. You become untouchable. Look closely at those around you. Notice how desperately they seek approval. Notice how they constantly look for head nods and agreement when they speak. They are bound by invisible chains of social validation. Break those chains in your own life. Do not look for approval. Do not look for consensus. Validate yourself through relentless action and strategic victories. When you operate from a position of absolute internal validation, your presence alone shifts the energy in any room you enter. Power is quiet. Power is selective. Power is strategic. The world belongs to those who can master themselves before trying to master others. Stop letting emotional reactions bleed your power away. Lock down your mind. Mask your intentions. Stand firm in your solitude. Control the room through quiet authority and absolute emotional composure. The weak will react. The strong will observe, calculate, and execute.